The zombies virus that swept through Busan started in Seoul. In the dusk at Seoul Station, an injured old man walks among the crowd, his steps faltering and his expression painfully distressed. However, no one chooses to help him simply because he is a stinky homeless man. The old man sits down and soon falls into a coma. At this moment, another homeless man notices the old man. The old man, covered in blood from what seems to be a bite, is in critical condition. The concerned man immediately rushes to a nearby shelter. After a struggle, he manages to persuade the female administrator to secure a bed for the old man. However, a burly man threatens and drives him away. Worried about the old man's safety, the man reluctantly goes to a pharmacy, using his meager savings to buy medicine for him. Upon returning, he finds that the old man has stopped breathing. The man cried and rushed towards the station staff, shouting that someone had died. When they return, the old man's body is inexplicably gone. Assuming the man is lying, the staff angrily leaves the scene. Perplexed, the man searches for the old man and eventually spots him in a narrow alley. Before the man could react, he was attacked by the zombies. Before he can comprehend, the zombies turn on him, and he is attacked. Meanwhile, on the other side, the female protagonist, Hae-sun, wakes up to find her boyfriend Ki-woong missing. Intending to search for him downstairs, she encounters the landlord at the stairwell. Due to overdue rent, the landlord issues a final ultimatum. Hae-sun could only keep apologizing and rush to find Ki-woong. Finally, in an internet cafe, Hae-sun locates Ki-woong, only to discover him using her photos for solicitation. From their conversation, it's evident that this is not the first time. However, this time, Hae-sun chooses to refuse, leading to a heated argument and their separation. Alone, Hae-sun arrives at the station and witnesses a large group of people frantically fleeing. A man suddenly goes mad and attacks another. It becomes clear that the zombie virus has spread. Hae-sun sees a large group of zombies swarming around and follows the fleeing group. The zombies are in hot pursuit. Hae-sun accidentally fell down from the stairs and was almost caught by the zombies that came after him. But in the end there was no danger. They successfully reached the station's security guards and recounted everything to the police. But the police didn't believe them at all. Soon, zombies caught up, and the sturdy glass doors were instantly shattered. Zombies flooded into the security room, immediately taking down one police officer. They managed to escape by ducking into a holding cell, but they're now trapped inside. Hae-sun turned around and noticed another police officer had been bitten, yet he was oblivious to the severity, thinking it was just a riot initiated by homeless people. After calling for backup, the police aimed their guns at the three, but soon, signs of mutation appeared. The police officer who was just knocked down also underwent a transformation. Witnessing this, they panicked. Mr. Kim seemed to realize something. Taking advantage of the police officer's distraction, he tackled him, snatched the gun, but soon the unconscious police officer mutated and attacked another man. Though the old man quickly shot the zombies, the man had already been bitten. Reinforcements arrived in time, successfully diverting the zombies' attention. Seizing this opportunity, they quickly ran out, got into an ambulance, and were rescued. Meanwhile, Ki-woong was meeting a customer, only to discover it was Hae-sun's father, Suk-kyu. Enraged, Suk-kyu grabbed Ki-woong, demanding he take him to find his daughter, threatening consequences otherwise. Fearful of a beating, Ki-woong reluctantly got into Suk-kyu's car, returning to their rented place. However, upon opening the door, they found Hae-sun wasn't home. Ki-woong asked Suk-kyu to wait inside, suggesting Hae-sun might return soon. But standing at the door, Suk-kyu noticed the landlord, now turned into a zombie, attacking tenants. Suk-kyu hastily entered, slamming the door shut. Yet, in the next second, zombies broke in, immediately taking down Ki-woong. In a critical moment, Suk-kyu grabbed a toilet lid, killed the zombies, and saved Ki-woong. However, the man bitten moments ago also mutated. They had to hide in the bathroom, quickly climbing out the window and up the drain pipe to the rooftop. By now, a considerable number of zombies had gathered below. Ki-woong tried calling Hae-sun, but no one answered. Suk-kyu, realizing they couldn't stay there, knew he had to find his daughter. He instructed Ki-woong to attract the zombies' attention while he found an opportunity to get the car and then leave together. Though terrified of zombies, Ki-woong was equally afraid of Suk-kyu, so he obediently followed the plan. He climbs down the pipe and runs into a drunken man. Apparently, the drunk doesn't know what's going on, so he yells at Ki-woong. The sound of his voice attracts the zombies, and Ki-woong immediately runs away. But the drunken man is pounced on by the zombies coming after him. Fortunately, seizing the chance, Suk-yu acquired the car. They met at the intersection, successfully making their escape. After escaping the pursuit of zombies, Ki-woong receives a call from Hae-sun. She informs him that she is in an ambulance and will be heading to the hospital shortly. Upon learning this news, they immediately rush to the hospital. However, right after Hae-sun hangs up, she hears a dreadful announcement from the doctor. The hospital is filled with people bitten, and it's on the brink of paralysis. Recalling the scenes witnessed at the police station, they sense impending danger. Mr. Kim agitatedly told the doctor to stop the car because the hospital was probably no longer safe. But the unsuspecting doctor didn't believe him. To make the ambulance stop, the emotionally charged Mr. Kim attempts to grab the steering wheel, resulting in the ambulance overturning. Fortunately, none of them are injured. Climbing out of the ambulance, they escape to the subway station and then proceed into the subway tunnel. Hae-sun attempts to call Ki-woong but realizes her phone has no signal, and by now Suk-yu and Ki-woong have arrived at the hospital. Suk-yu instructs Ki-woong to wait in the car while he goes alone to find Hae-sun at the hospital. However, upon entering the hospital, Suk-yu finds it deserted. Suddenly, Suk-yu hears abnormal sounds. For safety, he picks up an iron rod as a makeshift weapon. Following the noise, he discovers that both doctors and patients have mutated. Back outside, Ki-woong waiting at the car faces a zombie attack. Luckily, the seatbelt holds off the zombies. Suk-yu, returning, deals with the zombies, and they swiftly leave the hospital. Ki-woong quickly calls Hae-sun but finds the call won't go through. At this moment, Hae-sun and Mr. Kim continue walking through the tunnel, trying to distance themselves from the zombies. However, upon reaching the next subway platform, they find it overrun with zombies. Helplessly, they press forward. After what seems like an endless journey, they finally find an exit. Hae-sun immediately calls Ki-woong, disclosing their exact location. Unexpectedly, two zombies rush towards them as soon as she finishes speaking. They flee but realize the entire area is infested with zombies. Fortunately, nearby is a shelter established by survivors. With their help, Hae-sun and Mr. Kim are saved. Here gathered many survivors, but the military blocked the way with trains. Anyone attempting to climb over the train would be blasted down with high-pressure water cannons. It turns out the military had quarantined the infected area, forbidding anyone, be it zombies or humans, from stepping out. And more zombies are gathering here. It's only a matter of time before it's overrun. The survivors faced a dilemma with no clear solution. Mr. Kim, unwilling to wait and die, disregarded warnings and climbed onto the train. To everyone's shock, the military, without hesitation, pulled the trigger. Witnessing this, Hae-sun approached to check, only to find Mr. Kim dead. To make matters worse, the zombies outside breached the last line of defense. The shelter was no longer safe, and people scattered in panic. A man, carrying a metal frame, climbed onto electrical poles. Seeing this, Hae-sun followed suit. However, those below suffered. In an instant, the surging horde of zombies overwhelmed them. The man had climbed to the opposite building, while Hae-sun, due to exhaustion, hung in mid-air. The hungry zombies below almost dragged her down. Helplessly, the compassionate man had to return to assist Hae-sun. Unfortunately, he was dragged down and became a meal for the zombies. Luckily, Hae-sun managed to climb over, but the crisis was far from over. The building was filled with numerous zombies, forcing Hae-sun to desperately climb upwards. After reaching the rooftop, she found only steel frames to escape to the opposite building. Without hesitation, Hae-sun gathered courage and jumped to the platform below. Ignoring the pain, she continued forward along the steel frame. Zombies followed, leaping down one after another. Disturbed by the constant zombie interference, Hae-sun lost balance and accidentally fell. Remarkably, Hae-sun's luck prevailed, and she survived once again. Subsequently, Hae-sun found a secure room and dialed Ki-woong's number. Ki-woong quickly located Hae-sun following the address. However, when she saw the so-called father, Hae-sun suddenly displayed a terrified expression.
사람은 아빠가 아니야. 내가 일하던 거 포주야.
It turned out Hae-sun had previously stolen money from Suk-yu. So, Suk-yu deliberately posed as her father with the intention of teaching her a lesson. Suk-yu had no intention of continuing the charade. He forcibly grabbed Hae-sun, and Ki-woong's attempt to intervene resulted in him being thrown to the ground, followed by a few brutal kicks. Hae-sun's pleas for mercy, Suk-yu didn't care and grabbed her hair. Ki-woong gets up again and picks up a knife and stabs Suk-yu, but Suk-yu overpowers him and cuts his throat with a backhand. Terrified, Hae-sun quickly fled, but Suk-yu soon traced her footsteps. Suk-yu began by brutally beating Hae-sun, and then he dragged her into the bedroom, throwing her onto the bed, intending to commit unspeakable acts against her. Powerless, Hae-sun could only silently shed tears. However, 5 seconds later, Suk-yu realized Hae-sun had stopped breathing. He tries to salvage Hae-sun, considering that the debt has not been cleared. Little did he know, during the earlier climb along the electrical cables, Hae-sun had been scratched by zombies. Just as Suk-yu realized something was amiss, he turned around to find Hae-sun had turned into a zombie. Meanwhile, on the streets outside, countless zombies had broken through the military's defenses, and the zombie virus quickly spread throughout the entire city of Seoul.